Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. It seems to me like we finally have some direction in the MCU post-Endgame, which I'm actually pretty excited about. But as a movie on its own, is it worth a watch? Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and I want to say thank you so much for being here today. I really do appreciate it, every single one of you. And I was able to see Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania a few days early, so I'm here to give you my honest, no BS, non-spoiler review for you today and tell you if it's actually worth watching. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video so that you know my rating of the film, or else you might be going into a film that might not be right for you. And if you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. There's no right or wrong answers, it's all opinion. Now, let's get started. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is directed, of course, by Peyton Reed. He has directed the other Ant-Man films, along with Bring It On, Down for Love, Yes Man, and The Breakup. Haven't actually seen The Breakup. Let me know if it's any good. And it stars Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas, Kathryn Newton, and Jonathan Majors. And the story is that Scott Lang and friends and family end up getting sucked down to the quantum realm, and we find out that there's a big bad guy with some big evil plans. So what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, like I said in my TikTok and my YouTube short right out of the theater, this is a very mixed bag of an MCU movie. Because there were many moments in this movie where I was sitting back and looking at the movie and going, wow, this is really impressive stuff. This is really cool stuff. And there were a couple moments where I'm like, I'm really getting into this. I'm feeling very emotionally involved. I'm like really loving what I'm seeing right now. There are also some moments where I'm like, this is the most dumb shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Moments where I groaned out loud at a joke. Moments where I literally did the face palm. And a big chunk of the movie where I'm like, huh? What? Wait, if you did, and his plan is, huh? So that's why I'd say it's a mixed bag. It has a little bit of everything in this movie. Now, the first act is where I was very concerned. I'm going, oh no, we are in deep trouble here. It felt just like Eternals. Felt just like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and it felt just like Thor Love and Thunder. Another pointless, bland, cookie cutter MCU movie. I'm tired of these. The first act gave me nothing to be interested about. It felt so forced. The humor, the story, and I'm thinking, oh my god, will this movie stay this way? Will this movie be redeemed? I hope it's redeemed. I never want to see a bad movie. Every time I see a movie in the theater, or any movie at all, I want it to be amazing. So I'm like, please, please get past this. And I could hear the comment section on this video before I even finished the movie. I'm going, okay, there's gonna be two types of people. There's gonna be the people who are like, yeah, told you, MCU has always been trash, still trash, woke garbage, whatever the case may be. But then there's the other people that are going, what, so you think you're so cool that you hate Marvel now? How ignorant can you be to be calling yourself a critic when you don't even read the comic books? And that probably will still happen, but I'm thinking, God, let's just get on with it. Let's try something new. Like the humor, like I just said, it felt extremely forced. Now, I will admit that throughout the movie, there were a couple of jokes that genuinely made me laugh, and I'm going, that's the Ant-Man that I remember. That is the Peyton Reed, Paul Rudd connection that works. However, there were some jokes, and I'll be honest, most of the jokes in this movie, I felt like, man, oh man, you guys are trying way too hard. It's not landing, and I'm thinking this is just stupid. And this is the MCU, right? Like, I can take dumb things. I've watched movies with walking trees and talking raccoons, right? Like, I can handle this stuff, but even in this movie, some of the jokes and even just some of the cool moments, I'm like, oh my god, I was laughing for the wrong reasons. But then the movie shifted. Then the movie gave me some hope, and that was Jonathan Majors as Kang. Great job. Now, I've said this before, and I wanted to tell you guys what I learned in film school. This is one little tidbit that I just always remembered, and it was about villains in stories. The best villains generally have these three traits. Number one, they genuinely think that they're the good guy. Nothing is more boring than a villain going, I'm the bad guy, and I'm here to stop you because I'm evil man, and I hate you because you're a good person. That's not interesting. That is like very basic level Saturday morning cartoon stuff. Number two, they're more powerful than our hero. And that doesn't mean that they're more strong or they have a huge army behind them. They could be the more popular girl in school. They could be the character's boss. Either way, their position, their resources, they have more power over our hero. The evil stepmother in Cinderella, for example, she just has complete control over that woman's life, thus making her more powerful than our hero. And number three is that they are tied to the hero in some way. The obvious example is Darth Vader. Spoiler alert for The Empire Strikes Back, but Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. Family connection. Another Star Wars example. You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. But getting back to this movie, Kang fits into many of those categories. And I'm thinking, wow, we finally have a villain with screen presence that feels threatening and menacing. He just commands the screen whenever he's on it, where he's just like, yes, Scott. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy means business. So he was easily the best character in the movie, but I did have some problems. In the second to third act, when that shift was happening, he did start to chew the scenery a little bit. He started to get very over the top, and he started to turn into Kylo Ren, where he was just kind of pouting and going like, this isn't fair, this is not the way I want it. And I'm thinking, that's not very intimidating, that's not very menacing. Let's just kind of move past that. He did, so that was good. Number 2 was his costume design. I thought it just looked kind of silly with the blue eyes and then the blue mask, and I'm thinking, well, you know, it's probably comic book accurate, right? Some nerds will let me know, like, well, you haven't seen any of the shows or any of the comic books or any of the whatever. Like, that's how he looks? Okay, sure. I think he looks silly. And number 3, unfortunately, is that I still don't really understand his plan. And I saw this movie with a big comic book guy, like loves Marvel, loves everything that they put out. Eternals is like a fantastic movie to this person. You're allowed to have your own opinion, I promise. But even he was telling me about Kang's plan and Kang's motivation, and I'm like, I still don't get it. You've told it to me, and I've seen him show up in Loki, and I've heard the explanation in this movie about what his plan is and what he plans to do and how he does it. I still don't really understand it, and I'm afraid that we're finally getting to that point where if you are not watching literally every single thing that Marvel puts out, the movies, the Disney Plus shows, you need to watch all of it for the basic understanding of the plot. And that scares me. Because how in the world can you expect anyone to keep up unless they are a huge Marvel fan? And some people might be saying, well, Brandon, it's made for the fans, it's not made for casual audiences. I think if you start to go down that rabbit hole, then Marvel will not be as successful as it currently is. So it's fine with having all these interconnecting stories, but I think that the basics, the fundamentals that you need to know about the current movie's plot need to be established or at least reiterated in that story. And I don't think that Ant-Man Quantumania or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania really did that. Now, Paul Rudd is great. He's at the center of this movie and he is fantastic. I think that this is probably his best Ant-Man performance. You know, it's always easy to root for the little guy or root for the underdog, right? Like if you like sports, you like to root for an underdog, unless you're a Montreal Canadiens fan or a New England Patriots fan, any team that has had a dynasty. But what I liked about him in this movie is that he's not constantly just the butt end of jokes. I did not like the last Ant-Man movie whatsoever because I felt like all the humor was at the expense of him. Oh, Evangeline Lilly's character, Hope, is like this perfect superhero. She's so awesome. Paul Rudd, Scott Lang, you're just an idiot. You're just a loser. Ha ha. It felt very cheap. But in this movie, he is determined, he is capable, and he gets passionate. There was one moment in this movie where I felt like I was getting really into his story, really into his character. Now, I won't spoil what it is, but he basically just breaks loose and goes, "We had a deal, I'm coming after you." And he finally gets like out of his cage and he's really showing his emotions, and I'm going like, let's do this, let's go Scott Lang. And Kathryn Newton as Cassie really impressed me. She's very easy to get behind because she's talking about how, you know, you are an Avenger. You can't just save the world and then sit back on your ass and write a bunch of books and then think that you're done. There's always people in need of help. And as an Avenger, that is your responsibility. Kind of the Spider-Man with great power comes great responsibility message, but the main message of this movie I do find very important, and I really liked it. And of course it talks about how Ant-Man is this very, very small superhero and can turn very big, but there's always room to grow. Sure, you have made mistakes in the past. You've done terrible things in the past, but it's never too late to turn it around. It's never too late to start growing and going in the right direction. That kind of reminds me of the line in Vanilla Sky. I think it's like, every passing moment is another moment to turn it all around. I believe it's something similar to that. The line that Penelope Cruz says to Tom Cruise in that movie. But either way, I think it's a great message and I think it really fits this movie. And the third act was just fantastic. I will be honest. First act was terrible. Third act, it really redeemed it. The stakes, the action, the drama, the music, the special effects, it was fantastic. I'm watching a big, epic, grand, fun, adventurous, intense, passionate Marvel project again. So it really ended on a high note. I really enjoyed the ending. So is this movie worth a watch? Well, like I said, it's a rocky road full of ups and downs, but I do think it ends on a high note. So for my overall rating, I'm gonna give this movie a 3 out of 5. I liked it, and I'm excited to see where Ant-Man goes, and I'm excited to see where Kang goes too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, definitely hit like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel more than you think. And of course, I want to plug in my Patreon. We do movie nights every single month, and I give you guys movies every single month. Join the exclusive community. The link is down below, and I will see you guys in this next video in the comment section. See you guys there.